Good morning Year 12 and 13 pupils. Today we will be helping you to structure your coursework module, which is an independent project whereby you compare and contrast one text with another text. Okay, and it's as I said, it's an independent project. And on the board we have a list of all the assessment objectives that you need to make sure that you're covering in your essay. As we can see, we have AO1, which is your use of English terminology, making sure that you're always linking back to the question, using subject-specific analysis terms and analytical phrases. The next we have is AO2, which is quotations and themes, whereby you're making sure that in your answer you are always referring back to the theme and selecting really relevant quotations that really thoroughly support your point and move your argument forward. AO3 is that you are showing consideration for the context and the historical and social context of the time. Are there any religious circumstances that were prominent in the time of the text that you are comparing and contrasting? What are the political and economical forces that could be at play at that time? It's a very important AO to make sure that you covered, as context gives something more relevance perhaps. AO4 is your comparison to another text. So in your essay you'll be writing perhaps in the form of a peak, whereby you point, evidence, explain, compare, evidence, explain, and then add in the context at the end. So comparing is really important, that you're making those key connections, those contrasts between the texts. AO5 is exploring different interpretations, again, so very important, making sure that you've got those critics, those essential critiques. What do peers say about the text? What is their viewpoint? Do they support your point? Do they disagree? What is the alternative viewpoint? Your first step in writing your independent essay will obviously be the planning stage. And one really neat way to do that is to use these beautiful things. They're called connectograms. And what you would do is you would pick a particular theme or a character of said novel or play and track those throughout the text. And another really good thing about them is that you can do a side-by-side comparison with a main character in one text and a main character in another, or one resounding theme, take the theme of loneliness, in both texts. So you may write about the theme of loneliness in Kite Runner and how that resounds also in A Streetcar Named Desire. Here is a sample paragraph where we are comparing the idea of how loyalty is presented in the Kite Runner to how it's also presented in the play A Streetcar Named Desire. It's important to remember that you have to choose the right question for you. So which question do you feel that you know well enough in order to be able to write about in extensive detail, as it's a 2,000-word essay?
Firstly, look at the breadth of the question, look at the theme you have chosen and all its word associations. So around loyalty you can see I've written disloyal, betrayal, guilt, relationships, friendships and conflict. With my markers hat on, I've gone through this paragraph to see what deserves credit. So you will see around the annotations around the edge, picking out which AOs are in this paragraph. This student covers all the AOs in this paragraph. However, I must state this is midway through the essay. This is not an introduction. This is part of the main body of the essay.
Toyota, Steve McQueen. Va Charles Brown, to نخوشانم. یک روز شاید بریم ایران. بر چی؟ شاید نکننده رو ببینیمش. اما همه تونم امضاش بگیرم. چارلز برانسون ایرانی نیست؟ پس چرا فارسی بلدی ایرانی گپ میزنم؟ نیست.
کجا را نسینو کنیا؟ چی فکر میکنی مچا؟ اگر ما به شما پیسه میدم که رفیقم شوین، شما راستی رفیق می بودین یا نوکرم؟
خواسته اگر بر ما پیسه میدادی ما نوکرت میبودیم.
با گمانم امیرش رفیق نداره.
ما اعتراضا ندادیم.
چرا؟ آزار دادی؟ افغانستان وطن پشتوناست. اصل افغانا ما هستیم، نه یه زارای بینی پچق. اینا وطن ما رو مردار میسازه، خون ما رو آلوده میسازه. و اگر مقای مثل تو و پدرت اینا رو همراه خود نگاه نمیکردین، ما شرشان بیغم میبینیم.
دست تا سرمون وردار آقا.
پرت غولک آزاری مادر نالت.
ما رو آرام بان آقا.
شاید متوجه نشده باشی که ما 3 نفر سیم و شما 2 نفر.
مگه مثلا تو متوجه نیستی که دست ما غولک است؟
گمش کن. این کنیا رو پسندتر میبینیم.
Yes.
I think you have a great capacity for devotion. You will be lonely when she passes on, won't you? I understand what that is.
To be lonely?
I loved someone once, and the person I loved, I lost.
Dead? A man?
He was a boy, just a boy, when I was a very young girl. When I was 16, I made the discovery, love, all at once, and much too completely. It was like he suddenly turned a blinding light on something that had always been half in shadow. That's how it struck the world for me. But I was unlucky, deluded. There was something different about the boy, a nervousness, a softness, a tenderness that wasn't like a man's. Although he wasn't the least bit effeminate looking, still that thing was there. He came to me for help. I didn't know that. I didn't find out anything till after our marriage, when we'd run away and come back, and all I knew was that I'd failed him in some mysterious way and couldn't give him the help he needed but couldn't speak of. He was in the quicksands clutching at me, and I wasn't holding him out. I was slipping in with him. I didn't know that. I didn't know anything except that I loved him unendurably, but without being able to help him or help myself. And then I found out, in the worst of all possible ways, by coming suddenly into a room that I thought was empty, which wasn't empty but had 2 people in it. The boy I had married and an older man who had been his friend for years. Afterwards, we pretended like nothing had been discovered. The 3 of us drove out to Moon Lake Casino, all very drunk and laughing all the way. We danced the Varsouviana. And then suddenly, in the middle of the dance, the boy I had married broke away from me and ran out of the casino. A few moments later, a shot. I ran out. All ran and gathered around the terrible thing at the edge of the lake. I couldn't get near for the crowd, and then somebody caught my arm and said, "Don't go any closer. You don't want to see." Well, see stuck a revolver into his mouth and fired so that the back of his head had been blown away. It was because on the dance floor, unable to stop myself, I suddenly said, I know, you disgust me. And then the searchlight, which was turned on the world, was turned off again. And never since has there been any light that's stronger than this kitchen candle.
You need somebody. I need somebody too. Could it be you and me, Blanche?